Well, finally, ladies and gentlemen, finally, we're to a team that could potentially win the Super Bowl. Oh, I know some of you have pipe dreams about the Jacksonville Jaguars out there that we did last week, but let's get real. Team number 7 of our 32 team NFL preview here on bet.nola.com, powered by the Dattitude Podcast. I am your host, Jim Derry. The San Francisco 49ers, well, they're the ones. Brock Purdy, is it Trey Lance? Is it Sam Darnold? Does it matter because they have Christian McCaffrey? We're going to get into all those things. They've lost a little bit. This is not exactly the same 49ers team that won 10 games in a row last year. We're going to talk about it coming up next. Okay, boys and girls, let's waste no time. I mean, no time. We got the numbers right on the screen for you. Let's talk, before we talk about these numbers, let's talk about what happened with the 49ers last year and what went right. You know, it was kind of a weird start for them. They lose in the muck and the mire. Trey Lance is going to be their quarterback. Jimmy G's a backup after going through a whole offseason of just when are they going to trade him? Not if, but when. Guess they couldn't find a partner, ends up staying. And boy, for the 49ers, it sure was a good thing that Jimmy G did stay. Trey Lance gets hurt in the second game of the season after losing in Chicago. Jimmy G comes in, fills in, takes over for more than half the season. And the 49ers start 3-4 after a walloping at the hands of the Kansas City Chiefs, but then they turn it on. They start winning. And just when it looks like they got everything right, Christian McCaffrey is traded over from Carolina. Bam. Jimmy G goes down. No worries. No worries. Mr. Irrelevant is going to save the day. Yeah, right. Brock Purdy. Where did he come out of? He came out of nowhere. From Iowa State is where he came, but the last player picked in the NFL draft, who'd have thunk it? Won all those games in a row. 10 games total for the 49ers at the end of the season. They're 13-4 going into the playoffs, and they win the wild card round. They win in the divisional round to beat Dallas, and they go to the NFC Championship game. Sounds like they got a great chance to beat Philadelphia until Brock Purdy messed up his UCL. You don't hear a lot of UCL injuries, but Brock Purdy was hurt, and that was the end of that. Well, a lot of people think that this team should be one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. And look, I understand all the hype on this team, but plus 900, you're giving the San Francisco 49ers the same odds to win the Super Bowl as the Buffalo Bills. I think that's a little crazy. I think you're getting a little bit much on the happy train there. There aren't a lot of numbers of value. The over-under win total is 10.5, and even if you like that over, look at the juice you got to pay, minus 160 to get that 10.5 number. Whereas if you like the under, if you think they're going to win 10 games or fewer, plus 140. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it doesn't look too bad. Look at the numbers from 2022. And again, the combination of Jimmy G and Brock Purdy, 13th in passing. Christian McCaffrey coming over, not only helping the running game, but obviously helping the passing game as well. They were 8th in the run game, 5th overall because of those great numbers. Again, a lot had to do with Christian McCaffrey coming over. Deebo Samuel was great when he was healthy, but he had his moments when he was hurt. Brandon Ayuk took a step forward. George Kittle was great. Will they all be great again? What about the defense? Well, the defense, even though they're the number one team in the NFL against the just total defense, they were 20th against the pass. And the reason is San Francisco, last 10 games of the season, again, remember, they were winning. Teams had to pass against them. Didn't even try to run the ball. They were second against the run. And as you know, you Saints fans out there watching all these previews, you remember that game, that Saints game against the 49ers? What was it, 13-0? Saints just couldn't move the ball. And that's how it was, especially in the second half of games. The 49ers were deadly. Are they going to be that deadly again? Well, I want you to look at the bottom of the screen and look at some of the players that they lost. And we only have one defensive player on here in Samson Ebukam, but they lost 4 starters from last year and 2 other significant players in free agency. Now, they did get Javon Hargrave, defensive tackle, coming over from Philadelphia, who beat him in the NFC Championship game. which is going to be a massive help. They signed him to a huge contract. I believe it was 4 years, $84 million they signed Javon Hargrave. That is the largest salary ever for a defensive tackle, an interior defensive lineman. Look, I know they got Nick Bosa, who's all banged up all the time. It seems like he's already injured. This defense is a cause for concern. I haven't even talked about Brock Purdy and Trey Lance and Sam Darnold yet. But this defense is a cause for concern for me. I know they were the best defense in the NFL last year. And again, you lose little pieces here and there, and then you bring in a newcomer, and part of your defensive front is hurt already. I'm worried about this defense. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You want to talk about the offense. You lose Jimmy G, who's off to the Raiders now. Of course, you're not going to keep him around to be a backup. And they don't really need another backup anyway because they have 3, I guess, solid quarterbacks. Are we sure that Brock Purdy is the real deal after that limited time that we saw him? Look, he was great when he was in there. But we've seen other quarterbacks come in, play 6, 8, 10 games, and then next year when they get the real job, tough, man. Tough. Trey Lance is not going to be the starting quarterback. Are they going to trade him, or is he going to be the third-string quarterback? Because going in right now, it's Sam Darnold who's the number 2 quarterback. And although it looks like Brock Purdy's actually going to be able to start the season and is going to be okay, that UCL injury, a lot of people thought it would linger and last well into the season, maybe week 3, week 4, and they'd have to go with Sam Darnold. But now it's starting to look like Purdy actually will be able to play. Sam Darnold is going to be the number 2. Solved. A lot of problems can be solved when you have a guy like Christian McCaffrey. And McCaffrey, although obviously he's had his injury issues, was able to stay healthy in his limited time with the 49ers. Is he going to be able to do it for a full season? That is a major question, folks. So let's get to their schedule before we make our final prediction. First thing that jumps out at me, besides the fact they have a lot of pink on this schedule, which means they play a lot of primetime games. 2 Monday night games, 2 Thursday nights, and a Sunday night. Good chance they'll add one of these other games to Sunday night as well. But I had to do a double take. I literally had to stop this broadcast. I had to stop it, go back, edit it, and make sure that the 49ers really had the 29th toughest schedule, because the rest of this division has tougher schedules. Doesn't start all that easy. At Pittsburgh and at the Rams seems harmless enough, but winning both of those games to start on the road seems like a tough task. Then playing the Giants at home on a Thursday night in a short week after you've been on the road for 2 straight games is kind of weird. Getting Arizona, that's easy. 3 straight home games because you got Dallas on a Sunday night. What a game that's going to be, and that might tell us a whole lot. Dallas is going to be pumped up for that one. Not saying they're going to win. They're going to be pumped up. At Cleveland, at Minnesota, and then home for Cincinnati before the bye week. That looks like a 1-2 or a 2-1 stretch. And then I got to say, certainly 3 games that they can win when they come off of that bye. At Jacksonville, home for Tampa Bay, at Seattle on a Thursday night before the most interesting game of the season, which I'm surprised is not on a – well, Fox really wanted that one, huh? San Francisco at Philadelphia on December 3rd. That is going to be a whole lot of fun. And then at Washington and home for the LA Rams to finish. You know what? It is pretty easy. But I have to say that even looking at this, it scares me projecting. Drum roll, please. Prediction time. Look, my best bet, I don't like any bets for this team. I'm not touching this team with a stick. However, that being said, I think you're getting value if you want to play the under, because my predicted record for the Niners is 10-7. I still think they're going to win the division. I told you yesterday, I thought there was value in betting the Rams at plus 850 to win the division. There is no value whatsoever bet anything positive for San Francisco, in my opinion. You can come back and tell me I'm wrong later, but your money. You decide what you want to do. Is that my surprise for the NFC West? I said I had one more. You'll have to wait and find out tomorrow. The Seattle Seahawks. We'll see what I think of them. Well, if you've watched the first 3, you already know where I'm going to slot Seattle, and you think I'm crazy. We'll talk about it on Friday.